Elizabeth Chappell, a lifelong entrepreneur who finally found my niche. After years of new ideas and jumping from business to business, I figured out how to turn a craft into a successful career. In 2016, I started a monthly subscription box for quilters. That little startup has grown into a thriving, multiple six-figure business that I am so proud of. As a published author, designer of fabrics and patterns being sold throughout the world, my favorite thing to do is to teach others how to grow a career of their dreams. Each week, you'll hear from me or from other guests who are creative entrepreneurs, so you can learn exactly what to do and what not to do to grow a career that's more rewarding and successful than you ever thought possible. If you're ready to turn your craft into a career that you love, I am so excited you're here. Welcome to the Craft to Career podcast. You are in for a treat this week. We have Monique, and I'm not even going to try and pronounce her last name. I thought I was saying it right. And then when she most recently, when we were chatting, she said how she pronounced her last name. And I'm just going to say Monique R. She is a guest on the podcast today, someone who I've been following for months and whose hair product I use and swear by. And I'm so intrigued with how she has grown her business, her following, her sales. Her product is constantly going out of stock. And so for those who are here listening, I cannot wait for you to hear the amazing strategy and techniques that she uses for growing her business that are absolutely applicable to any business out there as far as marketing, product creation, fulfillment, whatever it might be. I do want to announce before we jump in and you get to meet Monique, I am currently right now until June 25th running a special promotion for anyone who leaves an Apple review of the podcast. I will be choosing 3 people who will win $100. And all you have to do is write a review for the podcast. And it will go in, it will say your name. So I will announce who the winners are. And if you've left a review in the past, a written review, you are already entered. If you've not left a review, do that because it's an amazing prize and it really benefits you as a listener. And since I just barely announced this on social media, there have already been a couple of new reviews. So thank you for those of you who are writing a review. So take just a moment to go and do that. You'll need an Apple account and it's free to open. You'll need to go to Apple Podcasts and just go down and write a review for the podcast. So again, this is open and available to all. Anyone can do this. And I will announce the winners June 25th. So be sure to do that before June 25th. Now let's jump in and meet Monique. Monique, thank you so much for being here on the Craft to Career podcast. And for our listeners, you can't see it, but this is my first ever in person. We're in the same room. So it's kind of nice to have this conversation face to face. We'll see if you listeners can hear any sort of difference in that. But anyhow, thank you for being here on the podcast.
Yeah, I'm super excited to be here and talk about all things hair care and business and how it got started. So thanks for having me.
Yeah. So just as kind of an introduction, can you share what your business is, kind of what you do?
Yes. Yeah. So I first started just in social media, primarily posting about hair care. So I worked in social media for quite a while, just doing that as what people would probably say, a social media influencer. So that's how I first started out. And then I went into the area of helping other hair care companies with their products and their marketing, advertising. And then most recently, about a year ago, I started my own company called MMR Beauty, which is, we only have one product currently, but hoping to expand in the future. So that's kind of my journey in it, but pretty much hair care and helping a lot of businesses with that on my own at this point. So
yeah. So how did you timeline? When did you start posting on social media and why hair products?
So the story is kind of interesting. About why it was hair care. I grew up with a sister who had beautiful, perfect hair. I'm the youngest of 4 kids. And she's the oldest. So I always watched her have beautiful hair. I didn't have terrible hair, but it was nothing like hers. And then when I went to like end of high school and into my college, my first year of college, my hair was just terrible. It was at its worst. It wouldn't grow. It's bad when people keep asking, "Oh, did you cut your hair?" I'm like, "No, I didn't." But
it's been years.
Yes, yeah. But it kept getting shorter. It was so damaged. It was just terrible. So at that point is when I decided, like, I'm going to dive into this. I was so insecure about my hair. And I had seen everyone, people who have skin problems, they could go to a dermatologist and they could go places to find help. But I couldn't find any help with hair. Mm-hmm. So you could go get your hair cut at a salon, but I didn't want to cut it. I wanted to repair it. So I started just diving into that. And that was probably 2018. And then right when COVID hit, I had just gotten married and I was in a class at BYU, and it was a personal integrity class actually. And my professor, the class was structured differently. He just gave challenges for us to do. And the challenge for this month was to do something that makes you uncomfortable. And at the time I was studying public relations, and I was working full time helping small businesses with their social media. So I was working with a real estate company and a fitness brand in London. I was helping their social media. And I could do that really well, but I was very uncomfortable with posting myself on social media. I thought about it multiple times, but I was very uncomfortable. It's not my natural instinct to just put myself on social media and film me. It made me very uncomfortable. It's not my natural personality. But because of that assignment, I was like, you know what? I only have to do this for a week. I'm just going to post about hair care, something I've been researching for the last year and a half. So I made a TikTok and I put a fake name. I blocked everyone I knew. I didn't want anyone to know that I created it. And I started this TikTok, and I think the first 2 or 3 videos I posted, they blew up. And I was super nervous because I hadn't told my husband. I didn't tell anyone. And then after a week and the assignment was done, I had like 20,000 followers. I'm like,
Whoa.
So I went to my husband. I'm like, still, I have to tell you something. Something is going on, and I've been hiding it from you.
He's like, what are you talking about?
He was relieved to find out that it was just that I started social media. But after that, he was telling me, he's the one that encouraged me, well, why don't you keep doing this? Obviously, there's a space for it. And I told him, well, it makes me uncomfortable. But as soon as I started doing it and accepted it, obviously it became comfortable. So that's how the social media part started, was actually being challenged to do something I didn't really want to do. But as soon as I started, I realized how much of a need there was for helping women feel confident in their own hair. Mm-hmm. And that's when everything blew up for me. So I was continuing on that journey.
Interesting. This is so great for my listeners, because I've worked with a lot of them and I know how afraid they are to put their face.
Yes.
And they're like, no, please, anything but that. Yep. So I think that's really important. Mm-hmm. But if you could go back to those first 2 TikToks that blew up, what about it do you think captured people's attention?
Honestly, I think it was because I was very vulnerable with the people. I was basically sharing my hair transformation journey that I had been on, of very damaged hair, thinning hair, hair loss. And most women did not post about that at that mm-hmm. time. Now there's more people that do, but I was showing areas where I was balding on my scalp and all this hair loss. And I posted that, and then how it's transformed in a few months of changing my routine. And people resonated with that because it was honesty. Yeah. I wasn't saying, look how beautiful my hair is, this is perfect. It was, look how imperfect it was, and here's what I've been doing to change. Mm. And so I think it was because I was vulnerable and honest with people, they just latched onto that. And obviously that paired with very helpful advice and adding a lot of value into them, that's where it all started. But I really think just being vulnerable and honest with women in general about something that really wasn't talked about, that's how it all, I think, got that momentum and that large following really fast.
Yeah. And I think as well, a real problem. And yes. I think the bigger the pain point, the more people are like, yes. please help me. Yep. And as someone who has struggled with my own hair stuff, mm-hmm. it's a very like embarrassing almost,
Yes,
you know?
yes, it is.
And for someone to be like, look, this is how bad it was for me.
Yeah.
That just, anyhow, a real problem and a real solution. And I do appreciate, because I follow you now, like you will say, hey, these other companies are using my stuff.
Yeah.
That's not, don't, you know, like,
Yes.
no, don't, I will tell you the truth.
Yes.
I'll tell you, you know,
I will. Yep.
that builds credibility.
Yes, for sure.
So then at what point were you like, okay, I want to make my own product?
Yeah. So I actually, before I started my social media, that's when I had started all of my research. And this was like, I'm a very logical person. So I love studying. I love researching, finding actual results and resolutions to problems. So I've been studying for a long time, and I had tried probably every single hair product on the market, and nothing was really helping me with what I needed. So did all this research, and I kept in a lot of case studies that hair companies had done on their hair products. I would read these case study after case study, and I would see which specific ingredients were actually helping with certain things. So I just created this hair oil mask with the 5 specific natural oils that I had found that had really good results for the things I was looking for. So I did not create it with the intent to sell it one day. I just created it for myself. So I bought these different oils, I sourced them, and then I made my own little bottle, and I used it for about a year and a half before ever posting about it publicly. And it was, once I saw how much it changed my hair, that's when people on social media started asking me, what are you using? What is going on? How is your hair growing so fast? And after all these questions, I finally started sharing, well, I just created this blend of oils that I've been researching for several years, and it's been doing amazing things to my hair. And then at first, people were saying, well, what are the oils? How do you dilute it? Especially with natural oils, you have to dilute rosemary oil and all these different things. It's difficult. And I've been doing that for so long, but I didn't really care because I wanted to transform my hair. But my followers started saying, if you sold this, I would buy it because I can't find this blend of oils anywhere, which is what I found too. Everyone had a few of them, but they didn't have all of these oils that I found. So I talked to my husband and I was like, I think there's a place for this. People need it. They can't find it anywhere else. I've looked everywhere else. I couldn't find it. So I created it and people want it. So then it was this journey of being really scared to take that leap of faith because it's hard, it's expensive, and we were both college students, didn't have a ton of money. So it was scary. And then B, I knew it worked for me, but I didn't know if it would work for everyone else. But at the end of the day, I believed in the product because it changed my hair so much that we just decided to bite the bullet and do it. And that's where we created MMR Beauty. And the first product was the transformative mask, which is what we now sell. And it is the exact blend that I used 5 years ago from the very beginning. And nothing has changed. Exact blend, exact ratios. And it has now helped transform thousands of people's hair, just like it did mine, the very first one. So
I'm curious, is there like a factory that mixes it all? Are you doing it at home? Like how?
In the very beginning, we did do it completely on our own.
Yeah.
So when we first launched, we ran everything out of our tiny apartment in Provo, Utah, which was a very small space, but we hand poured every single bottle. I literally have a video of me mixing the oils with a canoe oar, like in a huge barrel. And so we did it all ourselves in the beginning. Because I wanted to be so specific and careful with it. I didn't want anything to go wrong. And I knew the only way I could do that is if I was doing it myself. So we did it all ourselves in the beginning. And I'm really glad we did because I also got to learn everything that could go wrong and how to fix it. I learned my product from the inside out. I mean, I literally poured every bottle. So the first launch, anytime someone bought it, I'm like, that was made with love and it was my love. It was a lot of effort. But now we do have fulfillment partners and we have a warehouse where they mix everything and they fill the bottles, and then we have a fulfillment center that ships them out. So now we've streamlined the process, but the first 2 rounds, we did everything completely on our own.
When did you first like open cart and people could buy?
That was March 1st, 2024 is when we first launched everything.
Okay.
So, and we had been working on it for almost a year prior to that. I just hadn't told anyone except my family. But March 1st was the day that we finally launched. And I had teased it a little bit to my audience since they've been asking for it for so long. It was nice that there was that demand of people wanting it. But March 1st was when we officially launched for the first time. So yeah, a little bit over a year ago.
And it has continuously sold out, right? Because I know I've gone and people I tell, they're like, it's sold out. I'm like, it'll come back, I think.
Yes. Yeah, that has honestly been one of our biggest issues, which is a good issue to have, I suppose. But our first launch, we had purchased enough for what we thought would be a year. And then it sold out in 20 days, which was just insane. So it was amazing, but it was an issue we didn't foresee happening. So it was difficult. That's why we had to get these processes of getting help from people in fulfillment centers. But it does continue to sell out. We keep preparing more and more. But I mean, right now we're currently sold out and we should be getting it back within the next week or two. But that's an issue.
Yes.
Which is good.
It is.
Yeah. And it's a great issue. And I think the interesting thing is that we haven't used 1 cent on ad spend. We haven't run one ad. It's all been through people purchasing it, loving it, and repurchasing it.
Word
and then
mouth.
On the flip side of them telling other people and then buying it and sharing it with everyone. So we haven't spent $1 on ads. It's all been from people loving it and seeing results and sharing it with their friends.
Because I know 5 people that I can think of who have bought it now because they're like,
amazing.
What are you using?
Yeah.
Even my hair person that I go to get my hair cut and colored from, she's like, what are you using? Your hair is so healthy. Which, okay, this is a tangent question, but when my hair is really healthy, it becomes hard to get volume because it's so healthy. And so then I'm using heat products, which is damaging it. And it's this yo-yo. So any tips on that?
I'm getting volume.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that is true. Because when my hair is at its healthiest, I usually have the least volume too. Because it just is, it's just weighing itself down most of the time. But I have found some volume mists. If you put it in like before you blow dry your hair and it has heat protectant in it, those will usually help with mine in volume. But then also if you do blow dry your hair, just always blow dry it with like upside down. That always helps. But yeah, a good blow dry mist that has some sort of volumizing. I use the Chris Ness Instant Lift blow dry product, and that will usually give me some volume.
And is that on your Amazon?
That is on my Amazon.
Okay.
store.
You have a great Amazon list where I'm like, let's get that and that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I also want to ask, because I watch your stories, I know you mentioned protein. You get a lot of protein, and I have to think that that helps with hair.
It does.
My number one question is, how are you getting so much protein? And can you tell the audience like how much a person should be getting a day? Because when I first heard this, I was like, oh my gosh, how do I do this? You know?
I think that's probably one of the biggest things that women don't realize. Not even just women, men too, which is funny because most of my audience people would think is women, but there's so many men that buy the oil mask. They just don't want to comment on social media about it. But we have a large following for men, so it's also for men. But protein is huge because your hair is made up of 80 to 90% protein, just pure protein. So if you're not getting enough of that, your hair will be very fragile. It's where you'll see a lot of breakage, split ends. If your hair isn't growing, a lot of it is your hair is growing, it's just breaking off. You don't have length retention. And a big part of that is protein and a lack of protein. That's actually my freshman year of college. I was not eating very well. I lost like 15 pounds. And I was not eating enough protein at all. And I really think that had a big impact. So the amount of protein you should be eating is about 1 gram per pound of body weight. So
much.
It is. But once you start doing it gets a lot easier. I don't even think about it now. Most of the time I have to like limit how much protein I have, because once you start getting in the habit, it gets a lot easier. But so if you weigh 115, you'd eat 115 grams of protein. And that seems like a lot. So if you don't usually eat a lot, just start at like eat 80 grams of protein a day. Or I always tell people at least 100 grams per day. So For me, that looks like I love like Greek yogurt. I eat a lot of that. If you can have eggs, have eggs. I love lean protein, chicken, steak, shrimp, seafood's amazing. Herbalife protein shakes are great, very easy to take on the go. Stuff like that. That's easy. I am very for simplified meals and I just repeat them. And that may be boring, but once you get enough protein, your hair will change.
Okay.
And science shows that. I mean, your hair needs protein for it to be strong. And it makes a big impact.
When I first started offering online courses and a membership, I needed a platform that could do it all without giving me a tech headache. That is why I chose Kajabi. I have been blown away by everything it can do. With Kajabi, I run my courses, a membership, email marketing, all in one place. You can even build a website with a blog and sell digital products, host webinars and coaching calls, and even set up an affiliate program, all without needing a dozen different tools. And the best part, it's powerful yet easy to use. I love it so much that I even created a free course to show you how to get started with Kajabi. Access my free course on how to use Kajabi and try Kajabi for free by visiting bit.ly/QC Kajabi or visit the show notes for the link. If you're ready to streamline your business and enjoy the process, give Kajabi a try. You are going to love it. So I also am curious the future of your business. You mentioned more products.
Yes.
Can you tease what some of those might be or what you're thinking? And I have some ideas. I know you aren't looking, but I have some requests.
I will take it. Yeah, I will take any ideas. I've asked my audience quite a few times, what would you guys like to see? So I have a list of those things. We've been working on a few new products for quite a while. So that's in the works. Ideally, the next step is we want to ship internationally for this oil mask. We did in the very beginning, and then because of customs and it was difficult, so we stopped. So the next step is to ship internationally, which will hopefully be very soon. And then after that, we do have a few products in the works. And all I can say is, if you think about the products I recommend most on my profile, then that's exactly what I want to create.
Yeah.
So I basically want to create a routine that is very easy for women to stick to. Because in the beginning, when I was asking, how do I do this? How do I improve my hair? People would give me like 30 product recommendations and I just couldn't do it. That's difficult. It's overwhelming, scary, it's expensive, and I couldn't do that. So I really believe that hair care should be simplified. So I wanted to just make it as simple and easy to follow as possible. So that's what we're trying to do, is create these very critical products that if you use them, you will see results, but it obviously takes consistency. So that's what we're hoping. We're expanding. We'd love to get into retail soon, which we've been talking to a few people. So we'll see. Those are the next few steps. So
exciting. Yeah. My gosh. Yeah. Getting into retail. Okay. What do you call someone, send an email? We'd love to share our product. How does that even look?
There are usually two ways. A lot of times, if a product gets enough visibility, retailers will reach out to you and start asking you about it, which has happened with a few. Or there are also contacts. If you just look up big retailers, Sephora, Ulta, there are ways that you can get in contact with them and you basically pitch your product. So those are, that'd be huge. That'd be a dream one day to get into one of the big retailers. But a lot of times it's even just getting into salons. A lot of hair salons are asking, hey, can we wholesale buy your product and then sell it in our salons across the US? And so there's a lot of different routes you can go. You don't need to get into just the Sephora. You can get into small places. And then once you build enough of an audience, then big retailers they'll come to you and say, hey, we've seen you sold out 10 times, come with us and you'll never sell it again. So there are a lot of opportunities. I know sometimes it's daunting to think, I'll never get into Sephora, but if you just start small, then eventually you will build up your reputation. People will talk about your product enough. Big retailers will want to sell your product. So.
Oh, it's so funny listening to this. I'm like, what problem can I solve that would be this amazing?
Yes. Yeah. But that is really the thing is, I always say, and I love marketing. I love convincing people I've always enjoyed that. And I've quickly realized great companies will sell products. great companies will sell outcomes, but amazing companies will sell feelings. And the thing that I want my audience to feel is confident. And that's, I believe, why this oil mask has done so well, is because the amount of messages I've gotten saying, I just used your oil mask, my hair is so shiny today. I've gotten so many compliments from people. And then 3 to 4 months in, they're saying my hair has grown 5 inches. I used to struggle with hair thinning, but now I don't. I feel so confident in myself. I'm not really selling a product. I am, but the reason it's done so well is I'm selling confidence. And I can resonate with that because I was there. I was very insecure about it, crying every day, had people making fun of my hair, use this product, and I felt that confidence. And I think that's truly why it's done so well. I don't really, in the beginning and still to this day, I don't really care too much about the money. Mm-hmm. It's that it is changing so many people's lives, and that's why I can't stop. Mm-hmm. I want to take a break sometimes because it is so much work. And then all I have to do is open any social media and read through messages, and it instantly is like, this was meant to happen. And the amount of lives it's changing and getting confidence again, especially for a woman, that's so important. Mm-hmm. So I really believe if you can sell a feeling and it's a positive feeling, there's always going to be a need for that product.
That is so cool. Have you told your professor that offered that challenge?
I haven't told him. I need to.
You should.
Yeah, I know a lot of people have asked that. I haven't told him, but he would probably be very surprised.
Yes. I mean, that's so cool. As a teacher, yeah. I'd be like, no way. That one little challenge, look what it's created, you know?
I know. He'd probably be very shocked. And I was too. But that was, I mean, it's scary for a lot of people to start something. It doesn't even have to be social media, but something you've been wanting to do for years. And taking that first step is so scary, especially for me, because I was thinking, what are people going to say? They're going to tell me I'm ridiculous, or I just want to make a ton of money from social media, and all these all these things running through my mind. And then I quickly realized that just does not matter. Mm-hmm. The people that say those things, they don't really care about you in the first place. Yep. And the people that I really care about, they were cheering me on from the very beginning. So I'm so glad I didn't let that fear continue holding me back ultimately from creating what has been the best thing for myself and my future family and for a lot of women.
So do you get negative comments?
I get a lot of negative comments.
Okay, yeah. So you do. All right.
Yeah, I do. I don't really look at them too much, and I honestly don't impact me too much. Occasionally, it's funny because sometimes I'll read them to like my sister, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, who do we have to beat up?" But it doesn't really impact me too much because a lot of it is, I think, just unhappiness or insecurity in their own skin. Occasionally it will. I can't say it never does. Right. Especially because a lot of it is appearance. They'll just pick you.
Oh, man. Yeah. People are so harsh.
Yeah, they are. They are. So it does get hard sometimes, but then I just think about like the amazing comments and I try and think about that. And ultimately, people who are trying to tear you down are not cheering you on. They would not have cheered me on even if I wasn't doing this. So I really just think about the people that have. And that's what keeps me grounded. But I mean, it happens. It's part of the job. I try not to complain about it because I chose to put myself on social media. That's kind of, you can't really have both. You have to be open to any negativity. And it's hard to not let it affect you. But I also think that's just part of it. And every single job has its downside. And that's just one of mine. So,
yeah. And the bigger something goes viral, the worse the comments are, you know, it's just how it is. Yes.
Which for social media, people say that they will delete theirs and I just say, leave it because it will make the video probably go viral more because people will comment. I mean, for any negative comment, there's probably 20 of my followers that are saying, don't ever say that to her. Yeah. They want to like say good things about, they want to back me up. So I would just leave the negativity. Don't let it affect you. And ultimately, you just need to believe in yourself. So at the end of the day, I think, okay, do I really think I'm ugly or overweight and all this stuff? And I'm like, okay, I don't. So why does this impact me?
Oh, wow. That's so interesting that people say that. But so going way back to when you were saying, I think in college, you had a job helping a company in London.
Yes, it was a fitness company and then a real estate company. So
how does my listeners, how do they find a college version of you to help with their marketing? Like how did they find you?
So my sister has worked in social media and marketing for quite a while. So she's helped me a lot find clients, especially the real estate one. That was my very first one. She helped me connect to this person who needed social media. The fitness company in London, that was just on my own. And that was purely from, I love networking. I've always kind of been obsessed with that. So even when I have a full-time job, I'm always messaging companies and wanting to talk to them just to hear their thoughts on their success and what went wrong. And I network a ton on LinkedIn. I message companies all the time. And that basically came from me reaching out to this company and saying, hey, they wanted a full-time marketing position. That was way above what I knew to do, above my everything. It was just, I was not experienced for that, but I reached out to them kind of naively, but I believed in myself. And I said, hey, I think I can really help your company if you just give me a shot, even though I had another job at the time, but I like trying new things. And then they surprisingly hired me. Well, I was a full-time student at BYU too. And it was the most difficult month or two until I graduated of juggling all that, but it gave me great experience. And I think ultimately that's what helped me be able to do it successfully for myself. But for people that want help with their social media, universities are a great place to go look. There's always people looking for internships. I've done so many free internships.
Free? I mean, that is like gold to a business owner. Like, what?
Yeah, but people will. And that time when I was doing it for free, you learn so much. Mm-hmm. And I was able to get so much more experience than maybe someone who in the very beginning only wanted a paid internship that would pay, X amount, and you miss out on so many opportunities. I just wanted to absorb and learn as much as possible about social media. And then obviously after you learn that, you become valuable. But I wasn't valuable and I didn't know anything. Right. So I was willing to do whatever it took to learn. Mm-hmm. So that was, doing internships that didn't pay a ton or that were free, or creating accounts that no one knew that I was even doing, but I wanted to see the algorithm and engagement. You really need to become valuable. Yeah. I think that's what people forget. They want instant success, but there's no success if you don't have value to provide to anyone.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much, because people see the success of others and they're like, well, that's what I want. Yeah. But in order to do that, you've got to provide value. Yes. Like your hair oil provides major value. Yes. It hits some pain points, but that took you years of studying.
Yes. And even now I still provide a lot of free value to my audience. I create hair care routines that it doesn't take just 5 minutes to create. I message everyone and I spend a lot of time providing value that I could easily have people pay for. A lot of times people will ask, well, do you provide hair consultations, and how much I'll pay you $300? And I say, no, it's okay. Just tell me what are your pain points and I'm going to help you. Mm-hmm. And it's so interesting because after I do that, in about 3 to 4 months, whenever our hair product comes back in stock, they immediately buy the hair oil. Oh yeah. It comes back to you. And that's why I'm such a believer in the less you care about yourself and the more you care about your customer, the more success you will have. Mm-hmm. So I am 100% okay with giving away free value. Could I be making more money having people pay for consultations? Totally. Do I think that it benefits me more to do it how I am? Yes. Mm-hmm. People trust me. They see this value. And then when I do one day have a product, they didn't even think twice to buy it because they knew that would provide value to them just like I have before. So my advice would be provide as much value for free as you can to your customer. Mm-hmm. Even if it means that you miss out on some money, it doesn't matter. It'll come back to you in the future, I think, times 2. It's always going to come back.
I love that. And it's actually, I feel like that's kind of a controversial thing. People are like, well, if you give everything for free, then you'll find clients who don't want to pay. And sure, there's going to be some,
Sure. Yeah, definitely.
But the credibility that you build and just, I don't know, but even that's so interesting because for Christmas, I got my daughter your hair oil mask and I printed off, you have like I don't know if you still do, but like a week, like
beginner weekly hair care.
Yes. And all the products like this day use this and this. So I printed off and had a basket of all the stuff and like,
so cute.
Here's the hair care. But I mean, that's so much value, which the only thing you're selling there is your oil. I guess the Amazon affiliate link, you get like a small percentage of that. But again, you only promote products that you have tried and you trust and you build.
Yeah. And I do really think the value you provide, and the free value, that's what helps get your audience to trust you. And if you don't provide that value, then why would they ever buy your hair product if they don't know what you say is true? If they don't respect your opinion. And I've publicly said, hey, I don't like this product. I've worked with the company, but I'm not working with it anymore because this is a terrible product. And that will lose a lot of sales that I can make money on. But people know I'm never going to promote a product that I don't believe in. And I've turned down so many deals that I just won't ever work with them because the product is not good.
Yeah.
So again, it's them trusting you and providing value before ever selling a product. And now will people buy stuff from me? Yes. And I'm making money from the hair product.
Right.
And it's amazing. But that was the reason we're selling out so fast, is because people trust me. And that took a long time of building that trust. It took years before I ever sold a product, but it's been so beneficial now.
And just, I heard, I think Alex Hormozy talking about like think in decades rather than days or months. And so, it took you years to build this audience and to build credibility, but then you did. And now the magic can happen. And I do trust, like when you say you've tried something, because I've heard you say, no, don't use this. And there's actually a product I had that I'm like, okay, I won't use it because you tried it. You know more than I do.
And it is hard because hair care is so different for everyone. So one product could work amazing for someone and it doesn't. And that's what I always do say is whatever works for you, you keep doing. Like I really do think that people, especially on social media, will try scaring people with hair care or skincare, whatever it is. Don't do this, or you're going to have hair loss or whatever it is. But I don't really believe that. I don't want my account to be based off of fear. I want it to be based off of confidence and finding the right product. So if someone says, hey, I tried that product you recommended, it did not work, I say, oh, that's okay. That's totally fine. What's your hair type? Let's find one that does. There's always a solution to it. I do not get offended if someone tries something and they don't like it. Even my oil mask, if someone says, hey, I tried this and it did this and this, but I need something more, then I'm like, okay, wonderful. What else can we do? What else can I recommend to you? So
do you think you'll create different hair oil masks for like this type of hair, or if this is your,
Yeah, that's the hope. I love hair oil masks. They've been transformative for me. And I have been getting so many requests of different hair types, especially like curly hair. It's different when you need to put on your hair, or especially for men. Our current blend right now, we do have one ingredient, which is pumpkin seed. That's a natural DHT blocker, and DHT is a hormone that causes hair loss, especially in men. And we have that, which has been really good for men, but hormones are just different in females and males. So I would like to create hair oil mask that's more specific towards men and see what else we can put in there to help them. So eventually down the line, I would love to create more hair oil masks for different hair types, genders, whatever it is, because it's different. Every single person has different hair, and that's okay. I don't get offended if someone needs a different type of product. So,
right.
Yeah.
Very cool. So for our listeners, if they're like, okay, how do I find this product? Where can they find you? Where can they learn more?
Yeah, so I'm on basically all social media. So Instagram and TikTok, I'm Monique Rapier. The last name's kind of difficult. When I married my husband, I'm like, this is going to be hard. So it's MoniqueRapier. And that's on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube. And then my website is mmrbeauty.com. And that's where we're currently sold out, but should be back in the next week or two. But you can sign up to be notified when the product is back. And that's where you can buy the hair oil mask. So
awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being here. This is an honor, and just so many little nuggets of wisdom that you shared here. So thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you for having me. I loved chatting with you, so I appreciate it.
Monique, thank you for such a fun conversation. Oh man, it is so fun for me to chat business, to see how different business owners have started and grown their business, and then the strategy behind it. I mean, Monique touched on so many awesome strategies. I hope that you took notes, that you enjoyed this. And if you are anyone struggling with hair loss, hair growth, hair strength, dry hair, be sure to go and check out her hair oil mask. I can attest that it is a game changer. I've been using it now for months, at least once a week, and I love it. So Monique, thank you so much for being a guest here on the podcast and for sharing about your business and the business growth. And listeners, thank you for being here. And just a reminder to leave a review before June 25th for a chance to win one of the 3 $100 prizes. Thank you, listeners. We'll see you back here next week with a brand new episode.